Hey everybody, welcome back to this Let's Play Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation. I am Drak. Let's get to it, shall we? So we are continuing our journey down into the Mysidian Cave to get the Crystal Rod, which we need to get into the Mysidian Tower so that we can finally claim the Ultima Spell. And be gods among men! Not really, but, you know, whatever works. And we're already a good distance in, so thankfully it shouldn't be too long now before we get to the Crystal Rod and the boss Guardian, obviously. And we get a Drain Scroll and monsters in it. Yeah, this is what happens in this game. We get rare spells that have pains in butts monsters. Somebody want to finish my thought for me? Kind of lost it mid-sentence there. These guys aren't too bad. They're just, if people are used to the Revenants and the Spectres that we've been getting, or the Skeletons and the Wraiths, this is the Ghost. This is probably, I think, the highest skeletal soldier we'll get. And ow, that hurt. That's okay. He went down. Poison 16. Ouchies. Yeah, I don't have a spell that high, but I do a little bit more than you do. So I'll take my victories where I can. Do 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 do. And people might be noticing, just to clarify to people, I do skip chests. If they don't have something worthwhile, I don't get them. Just because sometimes they're way out of my way and it's not worth it. So I kind of predetermine when I go in here, okay, what am I going to get? What am I going to get it? Or what floor am I going to get it at? And is it worth it? And in some cases it is, and sometimes, most of the time it isn't. When I'm just getting a chest for a potion, that's not worth it to me. And of course, it's a dungeon, so random encounters up the wazoo, but it's just one Marlboro. It's funny, I'm not worried about them in this game, but when we get to later games, that's not going to be a fun sign. For people who have never played Final Fantasy before, Marlboros are the biggest pain in the butt later on, because they eventually will always get an ability called Bad Breath, and Bad Breath casts every status ailment known to man on all your characters. And so it's hard to... that's a hard concept because at least a few of them will hit. You know, you can't just have all of them miss. Some of them will hit. And if it's, you know, something like confusion or a few other status ailments that can happen, it's a pain in the butt. You know, poison can easily be dealt with in later Final Fantasy games, but stuff like confusion, sleep, toad, they all suck. Especially when they're all cast together, because then you have to get all of them off. And usually you only have maybe one or two people who can do the spell that they can use to get it off. So it's not fun. And people will kind of notice I'm starting to run because in a lot of cases, I'm trying to avoid as many encounters as I possibly can, and that's just a pain in the butt. Or, you know, I'm not trying to delay the inevitable here. I want out of here, kind of thing. So that's why in a lot of cases you'll start seeing me from here on trying to run from some encounters. Why? Because I just don't want to deal with some of these guys. Especially since it's an endurance match. As you guys are kind of seeing, Furion's running out of MP, and I'm running out of ethers to refuel his MP with, so I don't want to deal with it. And then there's going to be somebody in the comments who's like, "You're lazy, that's why you're running." Yes, I'm lazy. What can I say? Oh, and Gus is about to go down. Oh, that's not a good sign. Okay. So, we're actually, I think, really close to the end of the Mysidian Cave. I think this is one of the last 2 floors. Hopefully. If I can stop getting random encounters. Alright, yeah, this is not going to be one where I'm going to be able to get out of the way. Or get away from it. I cannot talk tonight, for some reason. Well, one brain is down. And we're going to try and nuke as many of these guys as we can. That was kind of pointless. But 2 down. Alright, 4 enemies left. Yay! 3 enemies left! 2 enemies left. 1. And bye-bye, Mackenzie me. I really wish I could figure out... Well, I try and, like, when I'm recording, to not have it signed into PSN and have those warnings come up all the time, but just won't let me have it. Because every time I think I've turned it off, it turns itself back on. Okay, there is the door. Oh, no, this is just another place for chests. Ooh, and we actually did get a really good item. And the crystal rod. Okay, I was wrong. I thought there was a boss here. So we actually got 2 good items out of that. One, we got the crystal rod, which we need. The other one was we got Osmos. Now, people have noticed that my HP has been going up, but my MP not so much. Here's the reason why. I needed this spell to do it. Osmos is, for people who know the spell Drain, which is going to drain somebody's HP and give it back to you. Osmos does the same thing for MP, or magic points. So at that point, I can literally just kind of cast it to whomever I put the Osmo Scroll to, which in this case will be Maria, just because she's my black mage and I don't want to fuel my ethers to her. And she can start stealing MP from the enemies to refuel her, but at the same time I can also aim her at Furion, get his MP really low, and then get an MP boost, like I do with grinding HP. Do you see the problem with this game? I have to kind of go into how I can really cheat the system to get my stats up. Okay, there are a few games where I'm willing to acknowledge this, and it's a fun concept. One of the few game series that I think does it well is, for example, the Quest for Glory series from Sierra. I think that was a great idea. But in this case, for a Final Fantasy game, not so much. And it really just reflects in how this freaking game acts. In order to beat this game, you have to cheat. And in a lot of cases, that's fine, but you know, if the story's good, I'll buy it. But the story's kind of it's not one of my favorites. So at this point, it's just a pain in the butt at this point. And for some reason, I'm liking saying "at this point" a lot. Yeah, I don't have an answer. And I'll put the Osmo Scroll on in a little bit, because it will go to Maria. But the good news is that I do have the Crystal Rod. So now, the way to the Ultimate Scroll is open. Oh, and I'm going to do it right now. So there you go. Maria has Osmos. And the cool part is that we will actually run across other monsters that will drop it. And if I get that, I will be a very happy camper, because I'm going to give it to Furion. So that at that point, when I'm grinding up HP and MP, or HP, I can grind up MP with Furion and Maria as well. Right now, I'm just kind of looking for cockatrices are a pain in the butt in every game because they're one of the few monsters that can cast stone or petrify. And if they cast it through their attack, petrify is dead as far as this game is concerned. So no stat improvements, no XP, no nothing. And that's just the biggest pain to deal with. Because, first of all, it requires a unique item, so you gotta have the gold needle. And if you don't, then you pretty much have to count that character dead until you can get one. Thankfully, in this game, you can purchase gold needles, unlike, say, the first game, where if it happens, you better hope you have one. Because they're rare. They're rare until you get to a certain town. But in the meantime, while we are making our way to Mysidia, one of the things that I like to talk about for people who are new here, first of all, welcome. But it is a question I get quite often, which is what am I currently playing? Because I do get requests from people to take up certain series. For example, I have never played the competition to Final Fantasy, which would be Dragon Quest. And through recommendations here, as well as through friends, I finally decided to pick it up. Sadly, though, guys, I don't have good news for you there. I have not gotten around. Look, finals just ended for me, and so I am getting back into some games, but I'm also playing a massive amount of catch-up. So I've been able to get some games in. Unfortunately, Dragon Warrior 2 has not been it. I'm still in a point of grinding. I know that much. I'm trying to get the third party member up to where my other two are. And then I'll resume the story again. Because I think I don't get any more than 3 party members. Now, people who have watched the last part notice that, oh, look, that's the Gigan Rhino. He was the boss in the tropical island, wasn't he? Yep. Like I said before, probably in earlier parts, eventually these bosses become random monsters. They don't give half the XP that they might have given as a boss, but they'll come back as boss or as regular monsters. So for people who are worried that I killed the only Gigan Rhino in the entire world and now they're extinct because of me, no, I did not. I'm not that cruel. That cruel. Except I killed that one. So if that was the last Gigan Rhino, then you're up a creek. Because at that point, I'm going to make the Uncle Jimbo excuse in South Park, which is, it was coming right for us! So, at that point, like I said, I haven't played Dragon Warrior 2, but I have gotten around to some of the other games that I was working on. For example, God of War Ascension, I've been able to get back into that, and Batman Arkham City. So I have some things to say about that. But before I do so, we are in Mysidia, so now we're going to go ahead and get a good night's rest. And I actually am going to stop the video at this point to do a grinding break, and then we'll resume. Because I'm not going to make you guys sit through grinding. To people who are new here, grinding is not on camera. I don't do it that way. To certain games, I might do farming, but yeah, I'm really not for that. Okay, so at that point, I did take a grinding break to get ready for the Mysidian Tower. Actually, not really, but you'll see in a second. So let's just kind of get into it. So I've been able to have more time with God of War Ascension than I have Arkham City, and I gotta say, it's kind of losing its appeal as I go further into the story. It's not that great. It had potential in the fact that it was kind of a prequel to the first God of War, but it lost me pretty quickly. And it just goes off into weird areas that I don't think it needed to go, and Kratos just doesn't seem like that compelling a character in this game, because I guess it may be that I'm just too used to him screaming at everybody and being angry and wanting his vengeance. And in this one, he's kind of dealing with an insanity complex, because it's based... Okay, guys, I'm going to spoil the God of War series, and if you haven't played it, that's the statute of limitations has run out. But it seems to me like this game is just after Ares wanted him to kill his wife and daughter. So, at that point, a problem arises in the fact that, you know, he has a natural reaction and kind of goes insane. But he also has his vengeance streak kind of kick in, and he wants to be rid of Ares' oath to him, or his oath to Ares from long ago. And so he's now dealing with the theories of Greek, I believe it's Greek mythology, either that or Roman, that are not letting him break his oath. Because they've got great big plans for him and all that. But especially since they actually say, you know, they've foretold that Kratos will destroy Mount Olympus. And I'm just like, well, they say he's going to destroy it for Ares, but it doesn't really turn out that way for him. Oh, look at that. Okay, so Mysidian Tower's up there, but what's going on here? No! No! What's going on? Oh, no. Whirlpool! Actually, this is a really cool game. I like the cutscenes in this game. They look really good. Okay, so... people might be going, what the F? Where are we? I don't know, Furion. Where are we? Oh, no. We've lost Layla. Which makes me kind of facepalm because I forgot to unequip her. Oh, it looks like we are in Intestines. Welcome, everybody, to the Leviathan. Another staple of the Final Fantasy franchise, because eventually Leviathan would become a summoned creature in later games. But in this one, he is just a dungeon and a pain in the butt. Especially since I have to walk around in his stomach acids. Because that's fun, right? That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a trip on the Magic School Bus and learn how the innards of a person work, right? Yeah, that's totally what we wanted to do. Oh, and I just fueled some boltfish. You think I would have gotten the idea from boltfish, but I was not thinking at that point. Bad, Drak. Bad. Anyway, so what I was saying with God of War is that it had me, and now it's lost me. In the fact that it's not Kratos being angry or wanting his revenge, it's that he's trying to discern what's real and what isn't. And when you confuse even the player on that, that's a great storytelling element, but you have to at some point have it assemble and make sense. And this story has been giving me such whiplash that I can't say that it is. It's not helping me at all to understand the story. And I don't like saying that, but it's true. So that's kind of a bummer. But overall, I mean, the gameplay is still good. It's a God of War game, so the platforming is still awesome. I think I explained what a scene that I loved in one of the previous parts with the snakes. That was cool. This one, or what I've been doing recently, not so much. It's been just the usual platforming and fanfare of God of War games. I'm scaling some big palace or statue or whatever, and my reasoning is my own. So, it's not that the game is horrible, it's kind of a letdown, considering God of War 3 to me was probably the best the series ever got, and keep in mind, I haven't played the PSP games, so I don't know how good Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta did. I'll find out, but Ascension is kind of a letdown compared to 3. The 3 story was pretty freaking epic. And I just think it's a letdown from where that story took us and how epic that ended to this. And so, again, I haven't finished it. Maybe it has a good finish. I don't know. However, Arkham City, I am enjoying the heck out of that game. First of all, I love the fact that it's a free roaming world. I'm not usually a sandbox fan. I don't like those games at all. But this one is earned a special place in my heart because it's great to wander around Arkham City and meet. You know, one of the showcases of the Batman series is showing how dark you can go with the villains, and where I'm at in the story is I've been dealing a lot with the Penguin and his Arkham counterpart. It's glorious. It makes you just feel disgusted you even looked at it. So it's definitely, they've definitely got a Cobblepot in mind. I've loved some of the verbal exchanges Batman and him have had, and it's been great. You know, the other part that I've absolutely loved is that I was waiting for them to do this in the first game, and he never showed up. Was Victor Freeze. And so now I've actually come to a point where I had to save him in order to save myself in the story. And it was a glorious scene, because in a lot of cases it flirted so much with, you know, Batman could totally go to the other end and cause immense pain to Victor Freeze, and he withdraws just a little bit to make sure he can get what he needs. But in the quick break on that, because you're noticing that there's a bit of community in here, including a guy standing in our path. So why is he doing that? We don't know, but we're going to go talk to him. Halt! Show me proof of your identities! I don't think driver's license exists, dude. Not in this era. How do we show proof of our identities? Actually, I forgot the item that we need to show him, but I'll figure it out in a second. I've got a strategy guide in front of me, and I can't remember if it's a word or an item. No, asking him about stuff doesn't help. Oh, I remember now, just like right off the top of my head, but it's taking my game playing self a second to figure it out. I gotta ask him, I think, about the Ultima Scroll. No, Dragoons. The Dragoons and the Windrakes were annihilated. What rubbish. I'm a Dragoon myself. Ooh, so the Dragoons weren't all wiped out. You are just in some dude's belly. That's not good. Hope your family wasn't annihilated. Windrake? Why ask? Who are you? I'm figuring out his voice as I go, guys. Because I almost want to go, and do all the Mighty Mouse stuff, but no, I think I'm going to give this guy a dignified voice. Okay, yeah, we're going to ask him about the Ultima Scroll. But why do you know that? I don't know, why do we know that? We were sent to find it, dude. Okay, it's not the Ultima Scroll. Oh, great, the game has confounded even me. I know that we have to show him an item or say specifically something that kind of determines our identity. Oh, the Crystal Rod. I see, so you came to obtain the Ultima Scroll as well. Yes. Let's go together. First out of this monster of a creature. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna team up. The ship is ahead, but a monster is blocking our way. Yeah, we're in a monster. Duh. Gareth the Dragoon joined the party, so welcome everybody to Gareth. He's kind of one of the last characters that you get, and he's fairly good. It's following me too, and we're just talking to the community here, but Gareth is the last Dragoon of Deist. So at that point, he's a well-armored character. To people who have known Dragoons in the Final Fantasy series, this guy does not have a lot of their features, mainly because those features haven't been invented yet. So there's Gareth's portrait. I actually love it. I'm a big fan of Dragoons in the Final Fantasy series. And so to see the first Dragoon on camera, that was awesome. But we're actually going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week. So next week, we're going to get out of this Leviathan and start up the freaking Mysidian Tower already. But in the meantime, I am Drak, and this has been a Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation. See you next week.